Today, guys, the topic is about extramarital affairs. Welcome back to MRM Astro Services. I'm Dr. Varun, and I'll present a small video after this, and then I'll take you through the slides to discuss further on the planetary combinations and houses and all those sort of things. So let's begin.
There are various reasons for an individual indulges in extramarital affair. Early marriage in life gives rise to conjugal frustration, which is also known as midlife crisis, and such thing can tantalize an individual to seek romance and love in a clandestine manner. The wrong marriage, which has socioeconomic impact, may also lead people to seek solace outside wedlock. The most pivotal reason behind indulging in extramarital affair is lack of physical satisfaction and carnal pleasure from one's partner, and this forces an individual to gratify his or her need through indulging into secret affair.
So, guys, yeah, as you know, we saw a video, and then the topic, which is about extramarital affairs in Vedic astrology. How do you find out from the horoscope if someone is actually having an affair outside marriage? तो बीच बीच में हिंदी भी बोलूँगा. तो बेसिकली मैंने सेग्रीगेट किया है 5 उसमें सेक्शन में. और पहले तो मैं बताऊँगा कि प्लानिटरी इन्फ्लुएंसेस क्या है. मार्स, राहु, केतु और वीनस मेन प्लैनेट्स हैं जो रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं. और फिर जो घर बोलते हैं या भाव बोलते हैं हम कुंडली में, वो हैं 5वां, 7वां, 8वां और 12वां. और फिर उसके बाद हम बात करेंगे प्लानिटरी एस्पेक्ट्स एंड कॉम्बिनेशंस का. फिर कुछ और एस्ट्रोलॉजिकल कंसिडरेशन हैं. फिर फाइनली सॉल्यूशंस हैं. So basically what I was saying is, I've segregated this into 5 sections. Planetary influences. Mars, Rahu, Ketu and Venus are the most prominent planets which are responsible in certain combinations. And there are basically 12 houses in the horoscope. So the 5th house, the 7th house, the 8th house and the 12th house are very important when you look at want to look at the sort of combinations. And then you look at the planetary aspects. So the 2nd and 3rd might be overlapping, and then you have a few other astrological considerations like your karmic debts, and then your karma, what you get in, and those sort of things. And then finally the solutions. What can be done or what has to be done. So yeah. So as I put it, as in the first section, it's about the planets. I've just briefly mentioned about planets, and which I will be discussing. जैसे मैं बोलूँगा. So Mars is basically, what is Mars? Mars is a planet which is it's known as a planet of desire, and it's known for its passion, and it's the courage to drive individuals to seek physical and emotional satisfaction outside their relationship. So Mars becomes very, very important, especially in a woman's chart, and Venus becomes very important in a man's chart. So I'll talk about this later also. So Mars, you understood, it's about courage. For instance, if anyone wants to have an affair, you need courage to do that, and it can drive a native to seek pleasures outside marriage. And now it's Rahu. So Rahu is also called as the North Node, and it is associated with sudden desires, and one can take impulsive decisions. And Rahu is about secrecy also. So when you have a strong Rahu sitting in your horoscope in either of the houses which I mentioned before, that is the 5th, 7th 8th and 12th, or with the 8th lord, then there are high chances of you know the native having extramarital affair. And then you have Ketu. Ketu is also separation, and Ketu means isolation, and also the unknown, because Ketu is without head. So if you put Ketu with any malefic planet like Mars, so it just enhances the Martian qualities. And jab Ketu, if it's in the first house or in any of these houses, it can create some sort of a disconnection from one's partner, especially in the seventh house. And it leads to loneliness, and then obviously, you go out of the marriage to have the extramarital affairs. And finally, Venus, more so for a man, because it represents wife or spouse or ladies in a man's horoscope. And it's very closely related to moon, because Venus and moon are natural significators of the fourth house. And what is fourth house? Fourth house is domestic happiness and pleasures. Whenever you have a strong Venus in one's a strong Venus which is not afflicted, the chances are that you're not going to have any affair. So whenever Venus is afflicted, or whenever Venus is with Rahu or Ketu or Mars, you tend to have an extramarital affair. Now, let's look at the houses that one needs to consider. Now, where I've taken an Aries ascendant. Sorry, before coming to the slide, let me go back and just put this across in Hindi also. तो मार्स, जैसे मैं बता रहा था कि मार्स करेज दर्शाता है. मार्स किसी की भी कुंडली में अगर बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग हो या बहुत वीक हो, तो तो चांसेस बढ़ जाते हैं. और मार्स कुछ, जिसको हम मार्स को कुछ बोलते हैं, और एक महिला के कुंडली में ज़्यादा मायने रखता है, बिकॉज वो हस्बैंड को दर्शाता है. और वीनस जो हैं वो एक आदमी के कुंडली में अपनी बीवी को दर्शाता है. और बाकी रहा राहु एंड केतु, वो शैडोई प्लैनेट हैं, और उनका दे नॉट उनकी वो नहीं होता है, प्लैनेट्स एक्चुअल प्लैनेट्स नहीं है वो. तो राहु जहाँ हैं वो डिज़ायर्स उत्पन्न करता है, और केतु जहाँ है वो डिस्कनेक्शन दिखाता है. तो राहु या केतु वीनस के साथ हो या मार्स के साथ हो, खासकर सातवें घर में, जो शादी का घर माना जाता है, एक्स्ट्रा मैरिटल अफेयर का घर माना जाता है, अगर गलत संगत में हो तो वो एक्स्ट्रा मैरिटल अफेयर्स बताता है. So let's begin with the houses that need to be considered. So basically you have houses from 1 to 12 for beginners. I'm just giving you the basic. So ascendant is number 1, and then if you go clockwise, you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Correct? अब अगर ध्यान से देखेंगे तो मैंने 4 houses I have marked in red. 4 भाव मैंने लाल कलर में मार्क किया है. उसका मतलब है जो मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट हाउसेस दैट नीड टू बी कंसिडर्ड आर द 5th हाउस, 7th हाउस, 8th हाउस एंड द 12th हाउस एंड द लॉर्ड्स ऑफ दोज हाउसेस. तो 5वां, 7वां, 8वां और 12वां जो मैंने लाल में किया है, वो घर और उसका जो अधिपति हैं, उसके जो लॉर्ड हैं, वो बहुत मायने रखते हैं. तो खासकर 7वां भाव जो आदमी के, औरत के कुंडली में अपने हस्बैंड या वाइफ को दिखाता है, और 12वां घर जो बेड प्लेजर्स को बताता है. सो बेसिकली व्हाट आई वाज ट्राइंग टू से इज 7th and 12th आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. 8th is obviously secrecy, so it becomes very important. And fifth is also about, um, you know, it's about, it's a primary indicator for relationships, and it stands for love, romance, and scandals. The fifth house, that is. So primarily seventh and 12th, but fifth and eighth also play a very important role. So let's move into the planetary combinations. Now, planetary aspects and combinations, as I've written, you can see the chart. It's the same Kundli which I've, you know, put here. And you have Mars and Rahu, Ketu and Venus, Mars and Ketu, Venus and the eighth lord, and obviously if someone has a Manglik dosha in their chart. So, what happens if there is a Mars and a Rahu combination? More so in the 7th and 12th, but also it can happen in the 5th and 8th also. So, 7th and 12th are most very important, with some influence of the 8th house because it shows secrecy. But if you go back in this video, I presented a small video where there are circumstances which makes one to go out of their marriage and have extramarital affair. It could be whatever the reason is. So for that you have to look at 7th and 12th primarily, because 7th is your relationships and 12th is about bed pleasures. Now, if you're talking about planetary aspects and combinations, let's begin with Mars and Rahu. So Mars, as I've already told you, it's a planet of courage. So if you have courage, you would take that step of going out of marriage and obviously committing something like an extramarital affair. And it makes one, it gives you that fire in the belly sort of a thing. So Rahu is airy in nature. So whenever there is a combination of Mars and Rahu, it just explodes. So let's assume you have Mars and Rahu in the 7th house or in the 12th house. What does it mean? 7th house is the house of relationship. So you have Mars, in this case, for an Aries ascendant, let's take an Aries ascendant, and Rahu there. So it will just amplify. So you're not satisfied because Rahu is there. You're not satisfied with what you have. You want something more. Correct? So if Rahu or Mars placed in the 7th and 12th primarily, it could also happen in this case in the 5th or 8th also. But this combination is deadly primarily. And although obviously even apart from these combinations, you also need to consider the entire horoscope, but we're just looking at the primary horoscope and the combinations. And then if you have Ketu and Venus, let's assume in the 7th house, where I've marked it in red. So I've told you Ketu's isolation, separation, not interested in relationships, but you have Venus also there. So if you have a Venus and Ketu combination in the 7th house, then obviously it means that you're not happy with your marriage. And if you're not happy with your marriage, you tend to go away from marriage and try to find that pleasure elsewhere. Correct? And there is a Mars and Ketu combination. I told you, Mars is courage, Mars is the fire in the belly, and Ketu is a headless planet and shadowy planet. And if you have Mars and Ketu, Ketu acts exactly like Mars. So now you put Mars and Ketu, and it creates a strong desire for independence and freedom, because Mars is fiery and Ketu will just follow suit. So it's like having two Marses in the 7th house or in the 12th house. And the other combination is Venus in the 8th lord. Now let's assume an Aries ascendant. The lord of Aries is Mars itself, and the 8th lord is also Mars for an Aries ascendant. Okay, let's say a Scorpio ascendant. Scorpio ascendant is where I've written 8, means that becomes the 1st house. So for a Scorpio ascendant, 8th house is ruled by Mercury, and that is where I've written 5. If you count from 8, the number 5 where I've written becomes the 10th house, but where I've written 3, that becomes your 8th house, correct? If you count from 8, you could just go from in the clockwise direction, and the 3 where I've written becomes Gemini, and the lord of the Gemini is Mercury or Buddha. So anywhere in the horoscope for a 8 ascendant, Scorpio ascendant, where I've written 8, you have Mercury and Venus combination anywhere. More so if you have it in the 5th house, 7th house, 8th house, or 12th house. But even otherwise, also, I've seen a lot of horoscopes where you have Venus, which is maybe retrograde, sitting in the enemy house. Let's assume for a Scorpio ascendant, that is a 8 number ascendant, Venus and Mercury, which is the lord of the 8th house. Mercury is the lord of the 8th house. Venus is the lord of the 12th house, correct? Where I've written 7. If you count from the number 8, which is for a Scorpio ascendant, 7 becomes the 12th house, correct? Last house. And the 7 is basically Libra. And the lord of Libra is Venus. And Mercury is the lord of the 8th house. Now, the combination of Venus and the Venus, which is the lord of the 12th house, Mercury, which is the lord of the 8th house, sitting anywhere in the horoscope, you have 8th and 12th lord coming together. Plus, Venus does not do well. It's an enemy sign. Leo is an enemy sign. So let's assume Venus and the 8th house lord for a Scorpio ascendant, which is Mercury, sitting in Leo, where I've written 5. So, and also to add a point, if Venus becomes retrograde also, then it creates even more havoc. So in any planet sitting with the 8th lord, Venus sitting with the 8th lord, and in this case, I've taken a Scorpio ascendant because Scorpio is also a secretive sign, and then the 12th lord is Venus, 8th lord becomes Mercury, and for any sort of for instance, let's take Gemini ascendant, where I've written 3, number 3. If you count 8th house from Gemini, that becomes the 10th house, where I've written 10. That becomes the house of, and the ruler of number 10, that is Capricorn, is Saturn. So let's assume Saturn for a Gemini ascendant is the 8th lord. Okay, count clockwise from the 3rd house. Where I've written number 10 is Capricorn, and the lord of Capricorn is, the rulership is Saturn. That becomes the 8th lord. Now let's assume who's the lord of the 12th house for a Gemini ascendant. From 3, if you count 12 houses away, it becomes the 2nd house, where I've written 2. And what is that house? That is a Taurus, 12th house, ruled by Venus. So let's assume you have Saturn, who's the lord of the 8th house, in association with the lord of the 12th house, is sitting in the 7th house, okay, in Sagittarius, where I've written number 9. And for a Gemini ascendant, Venus is the lord of the 5th and 12th both. So if you see this horoscope, you see number 5 and number 12, where I've marked it in red. So if you take a Gemini ascendant, 8th lord is Saturn, and 5th lord is where I've written 7, and where I've written 2. Both are Taurus and Libra, ruled by Venus. That is the 5th house and the 12th house. So 8th house lord is coming with the 12th house lord, with the 5th house lord. So you definitely end up having an extramarital affair. And the last bit is the Manglik Dosh. Manglik Dosh is basically where I've written ascendant. If Mars is placed in the first 4, 7, 8 and 12, you're considered to be a Manglik, which is a common phenomenon, because आधे से ज़्यादा घर तो आ ही गए, 1 से लेके 1, 4, 1, 4, 7, 8 और 12. मान लीजिए लड़के के कुंडली में मांगलिक दोष हैं, और लड़की के कुंडली में मांगलिक दोष नहीं है, या फिर उल्टा भी, अ गर्ल हैज इट, अ बॉय डजंट, और अ बॉय हैज इट, गर्ल डजंट. So in that case, it's a serious mismatch, and then you have the urge, sexual urge, but you still end up not having sex within the marriage, and then you look for pleasures outside the marriage, because Mars is obviously a fiery planet, but since the energies don't vibe in the Manglik dosh, you end up. I'll repeat myself in Hindi for people who have not understood. मार्स और राहु, केतु और शुक्र, मार्स और केतु, शुक्र और 8वें घर का मालिक, या फिर जिसका मांगलिक दोष हो, चांसेस बहुत बढ़ जाते हैं कि वो एक्स्ट्रा मैरिटल अफेयर उनके बीच में उन लोगों का हो सकता है. अब मैं विस्तार में समझाऊंगा. कुछ जो हैं वो करेज का प्लैनेट है, राहु है वो हवा है, मतलब राहु इज एरी. तो जब मार्स और राहु 7वें या 12वें में आते हैं, खासकर 5 और 8 में भी हो सकता है, तब हाई चांसेस हैं कि आदमी या औरत शादी से बाहर संबंध बनाएंगे, खासकर 7वें घर में और 12वें घर में, क्योंकि 7वां घर शादी का घर होता है और 12वां घर प्लेजर्स का घर होता है. जो हमको शादी से जो मिलता है या अफेयर से जो मिलता है वो हम 12वें घर से देखते हैं. और केतु और शुक्र क्यों? केतु का मतलब है हम त्याग देना सब कुछ. केतु का मतलब है कि केतु बेसिकली, केतु का दिमाग नहीं होता, और शुक्र जो हैं वो लव रिलेशनशिप्स के जो प्लैनेट हैं, और वो साथ में आते हैं 7 नंबर जहाँ लिखा है वहाँ पे, या 12वां जहाँ लिखा है वहाँ पे. तो हाई चांसेस हैं कि वो शादी में खुश नहीं होंगे, और शादी में खुश नहीं होंगे तो कहीं और देखेंगे, खुशी ढूंढेंगे. और फिर बात करते हैं शुक्र और 8वां जो मालिक हैं वो. तो मान लीजिए इसी कुंडली की बात करते हैं. 8वां जो घर का मालिक हैं वो कुज हैं, जहाँ मैंने 8 लिखा है. ठीक है, वो वृश्चिक राशि हो गया जहाँ मैंने 8 लिखा है. और अगर शुक्र, मान लीजिए शुक्र और कुज एक साथ आते हैं किसी भी घर में, खासकर 7वें और 12वें में, तो बहुत चांसेस बढ़ जाते हैं. एक और एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं यहीं पे. अगर इस कुंडली को हम वृश्चिक लगन की कुंडली अगर हम देखें, वृश्चिक लगन मतलब जहाँ 8 लिखा हुआ है, जहाँ वहाँ पे अगर मैं असेंडेंट लिख दूँ, मतलब लगन बन गया वो, तो वहाँ से अगर आप गिनेंगे 8 घर, तो वो वाला घर होगा 3 जहाँ लिखा है मैंने, और वो घर है मिथुन. मिथुन राशि है, और मिथुन का मालिक कौन है? बुध है ना. और अगर बुध के साथ शुक्र कहीं भी बैठते हैं, खासकर 7वें या 12वें में, ठीक है, या फिर जहाँ मैंने 5 लिखा हुआ है वो सिंह लगन है, वहाँ बैठ जाते हैं, जहाँ पे वो खुश नहीं होते, वो उनका एनिमी साइन है, तो वहाँ बैठ जाते हैं. तो एक्स्ट्रा मैरिटल अफेयर निश्चित है, मतलब शादी के बाहर संबंध होना लगभग निश्चित है. बट एक दो और चीज़ें भी देखनी होंगी कि अगर शुक्र बहुत ताकतवर है कुंडली में, और खासकर एक आदमी के लिए शुक्र का बहुत ताकतवर होना ज़रूरी है, और एक औरत के कुंडली में कुज का बहुत ताकतवर होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. अगर ये 2 चीज़ें हो जाते हैं तो एक्स्ट्रा मैरिटल अफेयर होने के चांसेस बहुत कम हो जाते हैं. तो फिर बाकी हम बात करेंगे the other planetary, other astrological considerations. Basically, it's about the karma what you bring from the past, which we call prarabdha karma. Now, it means if you've got those karmas, you've done something wrong in your previous life, you get this into this life, and that means that you have to go through those things. There's no getting away from it. because you're destined. Now, how you can change it is by doing good deeds, and that is where astrology comes in, because you know that you're, based upon the kundli, which is a roadmap. You know that these things are destined, and if these things are destined, you try that these things shouldn't happen. So you make a conscious effort. And there are certain planetary combinations, like if for instance, if there is a combination where Mars is very strong and associated with any of these 5th, 7th, 8th and 12th, or with Venus, it gives rise to Raj Yogas also, but it also says that you may have extramarital affairs. So, and then what are the remedies? So the first remedy, it's a no-brainer. It's basically prayer and meditation, where you do regular prayers to calm your Mars down if Mars is very strong in your horoscope. Khaskar if you have Mars and Venus together sitting in any sort of a house, and to basically ensure, because even in your body, when you pray and meditate, each chakra is ruled by a planet. So when you do meditation, chakra meditation, regular prayers like Hanuman Chalisa and other prayers, any prayer it could be, so it will just calm you down, and it will give you a clear picture. It will take away that shadowy nature which is by default by Rahu. You tend to break the shackles. And then obviously you look at Vedic remedies or astrological guidance, and this can only be provided looking at the entire horoscope in detail, and looking at which planet is involved, what's the lord of the 8th house or the 7th house or the 12th house, and also it could be the gemstone, or it could be Bij mantra, or it could be any other mantra, or doing certain duties. You can reduce the negative effects of those planets, and which will help. So I hope I've done justice, and if there's anything which you want to ask, you can put that in the comment section. I'll personally reply. And if you like the content, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye.